From where the news comes first, this is News Channel 2 Weekend.
Tonight at 6, a chain store closes their locations across the area. And protests happening all over the country, including locally, in response to the killing of George Floyd. Also tonight, praying for the violence to end. We'll take you to a prayer meeting in Rome. Good evening, I'm Callahan Marshall. Thank you for joining us tonight. Protests happening all over the country right now for George Floyd, a man who died after a Minneapolis police officer kneeled on his neck. That officer is charged with murder. In Oneida Square, a peaceful protest organized by residents in the community is started at Kemble Park. We have News Channel 2's Brent Carney live at Oneida Square, where the protest ended about an hour ago. Brent, good evening.
Good evening, Callahan. I think police today were concerned for everyone's safety, but I think it was a big relief off of their shoulders knowing that this rally here in Oneida Square did stay peaceful today. But just to recap everything that happened leading up to today's rally, at about 2:30 this afternoon, about hundreds gathered on Kemble Street in Utica to prepare for their march to Kemble Park. Protesters could be seen chanting, "I can't breathe," and "Black Lives Matter." A few minutes later, the crowd marched down Oneida Street on their way to Oneida Square. Some Utica police officers escorting the crowd, and some were even marching with them to make sure everybody was staying safe. Once they arrived at the park, the area was completely shut down by police so protesters could rally safely. I spoke with some of them that were impressed with the way that things turned out today.
We are standing up for what's right. We're all should be treated equally.
All of us, definitely.
You know, no discrimination. Wrong is wrong, right is right.
Come together like we're doing right now. You know what I mean? This is supposed to be a peace rally. It's supposed to be everybody coming together. You see people laughing, everybody chilling in some places, and other people don't know how to vent the way we are. This I'm proud of, you know, but other countries, other states, I'm really not too happy with it.
It was very peaceful, no riots, no nothing, and it was nothing like they're happening in New York City, Rochester, Syracuse, Buffalo, nothing. It went very peaceful and it made Utica stand proud.
We got to do more than just...
And Callahan, we are just seeing them coming back up the hill now. We are hearing reports that there was a demonstration in front of UPD this afternoon, and those protesters are now returning with their signs and whatnot, coming back up the hill towards Oneida Square. I don't know if there's going to be another demonstration tonight, but I can tell you that as for what does happen tonight, police say they are increasing patrols to make sure that everyone stays safe tonight. I also heard that the Sheriff's Department and state police were on scene as well, so they will be in the area as well, making sure that everyone is staying safe tonight. But again, those protesters are making their way back up to Oneida Square, but we will have another live report a little bit later on the show, depending on what they do here today. But for now, in Utica, Brent Carney, News Channel 2. Callahan, back to you.
All right, Brent, we'll see you back here in just a little bit. Thank you. Utica police are grateful today's protest was a peaceful one. Police had quite a presence today from the beginning of the march at Kemble Park on James Street. Also, during the march, as you can see, Deputy Chief Ed Noonan, along with a patrol officer, walked with the group in solidarity. And finally, at the protest itself at Oneida Square, a full range of officers from Utica Police to the Oneida County Sheriff's Office to state police, like Brent just mentioned. Police are hoping the night tonight is just as calm as the day.
We really stand behind everything that's going on here, the message that's going on. We're really, really happy that it was such a peaceful protest and people got to speak about what the items that concern them. Obviously, we're a little concerned about this evening, but we trust the people of Utica to do the right thing. If it's any indication how the protest went, I don't think we'll have any issues tonight. But we certainly are on alert, and we have increased patrols for this evening. We'll be patrolling the retail establishments and things of that nature, just based on the national trends of this nature. But again, I don't think anything like that's going to happen here. We trust our people, and we have some good people in the city of Utica.
North Utica, New Hartford, and Rome Walmart closed today. Officials in the corporate office say this is an effort to keep their customers and employees safe. They say as we continue monitoring the situations unfolding in cities across the country, we will keep our focus on prioritizing the safety of our associates and customers. We'll make the decisions to close stores in the area based on the needs of the community. So this is the North Utica Walmart. The store reportedly closed earlier this afternoon. There were reports on social media saying cars were shot at. Utica police have confirmed that was not true. Our camera crews say the parking lot was empty. As far as reopening corporate offices, corporate says they make decisions toward closing and reopening based on the safety of associates and customers. Target in New Hartford is still open though. I did call just within the last hour. The chain announced it is closing over 100 stores due to ongoing protests over the death of George Floyd. The Minneapolis-based company released a statement reading it is, quote, heartbroken by the death of George Floyd and the pain is causing our community. Target has had stores looted amid protests and say its focus will remain on employee safety. And protests continue at this hour in many cities across the country. National Guard soldiers and police have been trying to contain these riots. Here's NBC's Jennifer Johnson.
Across America, scenes of destruction after another night of rioting, looting, and fires. Police launching tear gas and rubber bullets in Minneapolis. Days of fury after 46-year-old George Floyd died while Officer Derek Chauvin was seen kneeling on his neck for almost 9 minutes. Chauvin has been charged with murder. The 3 other arresting officers have been fired.
What's happened to George Floyd is indelibly etched into the soul of Minneapolis.
In New York, violent protests, police cars set on fire, dozens of officers injured. NYPD vehicles drove into crowds to gain some control.
Clearly, we need to do a full investigation and look at the actions of those officers and see what was done and why it was done.
Cities from Philadelphia to Los Angeles look like war zones. In Washington, D.C., an angry mob tried again to get over barriers outside the White House.
It was an organized group that appeared more bent on destruction than on protest.
President Trump and others believe those inciting the violence are outside extremist groups. He has now designated the group Antifa a terrorist organization.
We can't have these Antifa militant radicals who are traveling across state lines using military tactics to attack our cities.
From coast to coast, thousands of businesses have been destroyed, police stations burned, streets impassable. Law enforcement now bracing for another night of unrest. Jennifer Johnson, NBC News, Washington.